Welcome you right now. Yeah. So the live audience is made up of ladies from different aspects of life. And we have gathered here today because we have a special program on Sister Talk dubbed Personal Financial Wellness. And we have a coach. Her name is Hannah Wangoi Kibushi. She's a personal financial coach. Hannah has done business and she studied BCom in campus. She also did CPA accounting and is also accredited by ISPAC and IRA. Beside that, Anna is born again. She fellowships at Deliverance Church Eastleigh. She's married for 8 years to one husband. And her main goal in life is to help individuals and corporates to create, preserve, and protect their wealth. I'm going to ask Hannah to join us right now. Please continue clapping for her as she comes. Karibu sana. Welcome to Sister Talk.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you today, and I believe you're
10 shillings per week, and for us that was a lot of money because that would help us buy a packet of chips and take milk home, and we're so proud that we brought something home. So it's never too early to teach your children about wealth. And it's not late for you to learn about wealth. The Lord is leading me to start with Proverbs 31, 10 to 31. I'll not use all of it, but it will help me so that we can be grounded. 31:10 says, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her worth is far more above rubies." Look at your neighbor and tell her she's a ruby. And you're far worth more than a ruby. This means you're the one who helps your family to create, to preserve, and to protect their wealth. Meaning, if you're not virtuous and you're only showing your family on how to misuse this wealth, what will remain? And you'll also bear me witness, in most of the households that are standing right now, be it children going to school, we respect and honor our spouses and the head of our homes. But if you have a wife who is scattering the wealth, that home will not stand, that home will not be preserved. But if we retain and help that money to grow, that money will go beyond the children to the next and the next generation. When that income is brought home, that is your income and your spouse's income, we advocate that is 100%. We're going to do percentages today. I love math, and I'd want us to be able to note down so that you can be able to carry it through, because all of us here, none of us have the same budget. We all have different budgets, but what works is the percentages, and the math won't lie. They work. After you have received your net income, please set aside honor to the Lord, the 10% tithe, quickly. After you have set aside the 10% quickly to the Lord, and why do we do that? So that it can speak for our 90% to preserve it, so that the devourer does not take it. So it's very important to honor the Lord, and God is faithful. He'll also honor you. After you have gotten the 90% that is left, we will divide it by 3. Once you have divided it by 3, we'll take the first 30%. Look at your neighbor and tell her she's beautiful. From head to toe, when you look at her, her hair is beautiful, her makeup is on point, her clothes are classic, her shoes are on point, her rings, her earrings, all that is money that has been used, right? Money that you have given away. But you'll bear me witness, the only money that remains for you is the money that you have with you. You're getting? So, of that, the first 30%, you quickly divide it by 3, and that is the money we call paying yourself first. You have to pay yourself first, because everyone wants a part of you. The saloonist wants some money from you, the children's school fees, the car that brought you here, you must pay transport, the rent has to be paid, but what remains is what you keep for yourself, what you preserve for yourself. And then what are the channels of where you're going to keep your 30%? The first 10%, we call it emergency savings. Emergencies will always be there. And if you don't take care of having a reserve for emergencies, that's why we turn out to go to the credits. And when you get credit to consume, you're only digging yourself further into debt because it's not bringing you back income. So you have to keep aside money for emergencies. And where do we keep this money for emergencies? The first 10%. We advocate that your emergencies should be up to 18 months of your monthly expenses. Everyone here knows how much food they need in a month, how much rent. So everyone must know how much is your monthly expenses. And these monthly expenses should not be in your head, should be written down, because what gets written down gets done and gets audited. But if you only have it in your head and you don't have it written down, you'll realize you are spending more than what you have because you cannot track it. I am sure if I asked you how much money is in your wallet, you may not know how much money is in your wallet to the last coin. You may have a rough guess, but you will not quite know. But if you have been able to detail your money, you will know that from this, I know I took expenses towards this is the much of money I need to spend per week for these expenses, and that is what you want to have for your emergencies. You need to have 18 months of your monthly expenses somewhere. That's the target for your emergency savings. 2 months of those 18 months should be in your bank account. Why? You can be able to access it anytime you want. Via Visa, via M-Pesa, you're getting, earning you no interest. Then the rest of the money, you should keep it into a place like I highly recommend ICA Lion Group, where you're able to keep that money earning you interest and you can access your money 365 days. Why? That is important to you because you may not know how many emergencies you may have at a time. Somebody's failure to plan should not be your issue. But if the Lord allows you to help that person, help, but don't lend to them. I'm giving you this to return. No. When you start lending money in relationships, that's when we ruin it. There's a saying in Kenya that we say, pesa haina urafiki. Money has no friendship. Money knows respect and boundaries. And if you honor those boundaries, you'll not have so much quarrels with your relationships. So you have, say, 2 months in your bank, then the rest you are saving towards it in your money market account. Then the other 10%, we all have goals in life. We all have financial goals. As we continue, we shall see in verse 13, she seeks wools and flax and willingly works with her hands. She's like the merchant ships and brings her food from afar. She considers her fields and buys it. From her profits, she plants a vineyard. How is she going to be able to plant this vineyard? How is she able to get to buy the foreign things? Is by preserving her wealth, by saving. Now the next 10% is now you're saving towards your financial goals. Because if you don't save, if you don't have a written down where you're seeing yourself, you'll be carried away by every wind of doctrine that comes along the way. But if you have a target of what you're looking towards to do, if it's to plant a vineyard, if it's to plant a field, you have to have a target and work towards it. If you have children, how are they going to study? I like the example of us being pregnant and in 9 months you'll have a baby. The same thing with our dreams. You have to give it a timeline and work towards it by deliberately committed to save. If you have children who are in primary, my friend, they're coming to senior secondary school and they're going to go to those beautiful schools. And it will be such a disservice to them that you're going to take credit. You're going to take a circle loan because you didn't plan for them. This is the day you're supposed to plan for them now. If you think later, yes, in as much as we hope and we have faith, we'll have bigger jobs, but the reality of it is buy and buy. You have to start saving buy and buy towards it. So that when it comes, they have options. Do you want to get to this school or the other? I remember growing up, I was told my work is to study. And then when I study, the parent will make sure that is paid. So you need to give them freedom to have peace that they'll only need to study, go to the best school, I will pay. What are you paying with? It starts now. Start paying now. So that when that time comes, you can breathe. Then the other 10%, you have to think of yourself. Our senior days are coming. Retirement is coming. And we do not want us taking advantage of our children, that they're the ones taking care of us. That's where black tax is. And many people are suffering because of black tax. You have a whole village on your shoulders because people do not take care of their retirement. We have today, but tomorrow will not be like today. I mean it by a day, by a year. We have to take care of our future senior needs now. Then the second 30%, we finish with the first one of paying yourself first. The second 30%, 20% should be where you live. The space where you're living, you're only renting the time in that space. Even if you stay there for 20 years, it will never be your home. You're just renting the space. And that space should only be within 20%. That is your rent, your light, your water, and your service charge. If you're living beyond 20% of your income, you're living beyond your means. That's the truth. If you're living in a house that is more than 20% of your income, that includes the rent, the water, the electricity, and the service charge, you're living beyond your means. Because we have to preserve, you have to create wealth so that we can grow. Otherwise, you're enriching the landlord. And he never can tell you thank you. From that, in the 30, remove 20, then 5%. We have to honor our parents cheerfully. That's where the 5% comes in, black tax. And this has to be communicated to them. It's an honor, not a punishment. So you're not going to be able to take care of all their responsibility. So that 5%, you communicate to them, I'll faithfully be able to give you this much faithfully. And you be faithful to it. And by honoring our parents, it becomes well with us. And we live long. After that 5%, we have 2.5. Now we're in the last 5% of 30. 2.5, we are all in communities. I heard about the sisterhood, and then also you have cell groups and all. You have to keep 2.5 for your community. Be a committed friend, loyal friend, and this should reflect in your wealth. You're as strong as your networks. Your net worth is your network. When your friend has a rush, when your friend has a wedding, you have preserved them in your budget so that you can help grow them. The last 2.5 is in verse 20. She extends her hand to the poor, yes, she reaches out her hands to the needy. We must take care of the poor around us. And these are not poor that are related to you. They must be poor that have no relationship with you. Why is this important? In your financial budget and your wellness, when you take care of the poor, you lend to the Lord. And there are blessings and there are some financial miracles that will happen in your life because of taking care of the poor. A story is reminded in Acts where Dorcas, a wealthy woman, used to take care of the orphans, used to take care of the widows. And when she died, it's not her money in the bank that cried to the Lord and went to tell the apostle. It is the voices of the people she touched. And those sacrifices touched God so much that the apostle came and prayed for her, and she rose again. There are miracles that will happen in your life when you help the poor, and it has to be committed. And it's not helping the poor in the street, no. It has to be in a structured way. If there's a widow back at home that you know, you communicate, I'll be sending you this by 2 packets of wunga or sugar, whatever the Lord leads you, basically to help them. And there's honor in that. And the Lord will hear the cry that you have answered. And do not bless in the open where everyone sees. If you bless in the open, your reward is in full. But when you bless in the secret, the Lord shall be able to make for you a table and bless in his own divine way. The last 30% will depend on our own lifestyle. You'll find there are people who love clothes, others who love a lot of food. For them, they're always popping to the best restaurants around them. And others is hair, they're always in spas and nails. For me, I'm a bookie. When you come to my house, under the beds, they're full of books, boxes and boxes of books. So the last 30%, you'll apportion it according to your lifestyle. So that one is open according to you. That's why you put your transport, your food, your hair, your makeup, everything. In a family where you are married, we advise that you marry your money. And when you marry your money, is you put it in one basket. And the one that has lesser income, the one who's bringing lesser income in that home, is the budget that you should use for all this percentage we have talked about. So that the other one that has a greater income, that we should use basically, purely and fully to investment. You're getting? What this enables you to do is to live below your means. You may start at living within your means, but when you live below your means, you enable yourself to get opportunities to increase, to enlarge the places of your tent. But if you eat everything, what will you have for tomorrow? You need to also teach your children these basic needs. How do you teach your children about finances? us when we were growing up, we were never given money for Christmas or bought things for Christmas, clothes for Christmas, or snacks for Christmas. At the beginning of the year, you were given a home bank. In this home bank, you're given a target. Whatever savings you have, whatever allowances you'll be given by your aunties and uncles, or whatever the parents will give you, at the end of the period in December, we'll break this home bank. And whatever is there, the parent will match. And whatever that money is that what will be used to buy you the Christmas dress you want and whatever snacks you have. And we are not to share, so that we could get that culture of saving. Start now. I know everyone here knows honey, right? Where we put in our bread, where we take for cough syrup. And for us, honey, we're eating the savings of the bees. They're working so hard putting honey so that when it's drought, they'll have food. But that is what we're eating. But how much more for us? Where are we saving our honey? Who's taking care of our honey? What are the benefits of saving? One, it helps you achieve your goals. Your short-term, your emergency, your long-term goals. It gives you peace of mind. When you know that if an issue would come up abruptly, I don't have to borrow. Will you not be working with more confidence and a smile on your face? You don't shtuka. You know, there's some phone calls you see, you start palpitating. Oh my God, what now, you know? But when you know you have taken care and you've done the right thing, you don't get shaken easily. It helps you to retire with honor. I don't know if you have seen people who are retired and then they do not know what to do or where to start, and then they start disturbing people. But when you have a retirement plan, you have saved that retirement package. And then you come to us financial advisors and you take your money and put it in an annuity. What that means, you'll be paid for the rest of your living life. Every month you'll be getting an income. Why? Because you saved to plan for your retirement. But if you didn't save, the average span of a Kenyan right now, people are living to their 80s. Why? Because we are eating right. We are looking after our bodies. We are taking supplements. We are exercising. We are swimming. People are living to their 80s averagely. So people are retiring at 55. You have 25 years to go. What will you be eating? In as much as I may come to Pastor Sunta to help me once in a while, but that's not her work. In adulting, we have to take up the work of taking care of our future. That's what adulting is. No one is coming to rescue you. Actually, the government, so the way we are so used to credit in this nation, we have Mshwari, we have, tell me, I know you know the apps, Fuliza, what other one, Tala, the branch, and they want a piece of the cake. What are they left behind? What did they bring for us? Hustler fund. Because it's our culture to borrow. And why are we borrowing? Sometimes you're borrowing to pay that school fees for high school and campus because you didn't plan for your children. Debt. Credit. Debt is very good if you're using it and it's paying itself. But if you're using that debt and you have to pay it back, meaning it has not worked for you, you're working for it, and you realize the banking sector will never go broke. Why? When you take a loan with them, they first pay their interest in advance. You may have taken a loan and then you realize 5 years, my principal is still looking at me. Why? They have just been paying themselves quickly, paying themselves fast. And you have refused to pay yourself fast. Paying themselves fast. So by the time you're waking up and realizing, what credit did I take? You're realizing the principal is still looking at you. So when you're taking your credit, you need to take for credit where it's bringing it cash flow and it's paying itself. You need to write all your debts down, all of them. Write all of them from A to Z. Mama Mboga, your salonist, that place, that boutique you took and you're still paying for that dress. Write all your debts, all of them. Once you've written all your debts, write the interest on those debts. Once you have written interest on those debts, you need to write the duration when you're supposed to finish those debts. And then you start with the smallest debts and the most expensive debts. If you have an app, most of our apps right now, credit apps are working like Shylocking, where the interest rate is not regulated. They can charge you any interest they want. Once you start paying the small ones, once you start paying the small ones, it gives you such satisfaction that it can actually be paid. And then remove all your debt apps because they are toxic to you. You're only growing someone, you're not growing yourself. After you started paying the small debts, add to the, if you finish the small one, then don't take that money and consume it. Start clearing the other ones like that until you finish. And then communicate to the people you owe those debts. Communicate to those people you owe those debts that they may know you're having a plan to pay them. Renegotiate your debt. If the premium is really squeezing you, renegotiate that they may add you time. Another debt are debts of pride. Say pride. You just need to go and ask for forgiveness from that person. Be real. If it's your friend, if it's your family member, be real with them. Humble yourself. Ask for forgiveness. Tell them the truth. Some may forgive it fully, others may reduce it. But be humble. And you may realize you may be able to save a relationship. Lastly, on those debts, pray. Pray for those debts. There was a time I had a big debt, a very huge debt. I had taken to help family members set up business. Then, unfortunately, we didn't have the Consumer Protection Act, and they kept increasing the debt, where they would revise the interest rate at their will, because it was now regulated then. That debt rose from 350 to 1 million in a span of 4 years in a bank, and it was pressing me and pressing me. I looked for options. I didn't know what to do. I talked to my friends. My friends could only tell me sorry. But the Lord gave me wisdom. And I had taken it with a bank at that time to help somebody set business, but they went and had fun with it. And then God gave wisdom, and I continued praying. And I sold that debt. This is something that will help you. I sold that debt to a SACCO. The interest rate had moved to 17 to 29 interest rate. Simple interest. And then they was able to sell to the SACCO who bought it at 19%. And I continued praying and trusting the Lord. And God connected me to another SACCO. And from that SACCO, they bought that one with 17 into 12. And I continued thanking God with a heart of gratitude. And God connected me to an organization who bought out that debt, where it was at 0%, where I could only pay the principal. So God has opportunities around us, but we also need wisdom and prayer from Him. Proverbs 13:22. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. Are you a good person with wealth, or you're a sinner with wealth? The good person's children's children have an inheritance. The sinner's wealth is for us, the righteous. So we need to also not only take care of ourselves, our children, and their children. So the children that we have now will not be having any issues because they have been provided by our parents. But that option was not there. But if we give them room, and take care of them and teach them early, they'll be able to enjoy, for it outlives us. Ecclesiastes 11:2. Invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. Invest. Look for opportunities. And where are these opportunities found? Look for problems. People don't like challenges. People want to come find a beautiful carpet. Everything is in place. But when you see where the gaps are, that is where money is. Because when you come and take care of that issue, that challenge, you have provided an opportunity for yourself. We hear about the COVID millionaires. What happened for them? They saw a gap. There are not enough masks for everyone. How many millions are we in Kenya? There are not enough gloves. Let's look for the challenges around us. And when you're able to take care of those solutions, you become wealthy. Go to your village, look for problems, talk to people, do a feasibility test. Talk to everyone in the market center. Nini inawasumbuanga huku? What is the issues? That's where the money is. 3 shortcomings about women's savings. That is a fallacy. Chamas. One of them is chamas. I am sure all of us, with the exception of none, are in one chama or the other. But most chamas are returning you the money that they have been keeping for you with no interest. It's a fallacy. It's not working. They're not helping you. Put it in a vehicle where it will grow you. And the chamas are not regulated by the government, and the chamas are not, you don't have written down contracts. Chamas are good for social networks. And you know from the beginning, these are social networks, but it's not an investment plan. It's not a savings plan. You're not growing. Keep your money where it will grow for you. Keep your money where it will work for you. A second fallacy that we have as women. This is two-sided. Buying land. We have bought land. We have bought land in this nation. We have bought land in Nanyuki, Malindi, everywhere we are buying land. But it's a liability to you, my friend. If it's not giving you money back to your pocket. If you're buying this land, add value to it, that it may pay its rates. Another fallacy we have is that we cannot borrow. I know that is a tongue twister. We cannot borrow. It depends on where you're borrowing that money from. Invest in good circles. Circles where you have your network. No, remember the 2.5%. Check where your networks are. Which circles are they in? Go there so that you can guarantee one another. So enter in good credit opportunities and vehicles for you. How can you avoid tax? Opportunities to help you avoid tax. Opportunities to help you I'm not telling you not to pay tax, but legally avoid tax. If you have a pension plan at work, the maximum that you can be able to get relief on that pension is 20,000 per month. So make sure you are saving as much as you can, up to 20,000. That will help you avoid tax legally. Take policies of every amount that you give towards your saving policy. 15% reduces your pay. Avoiding tax. How are the wealth preserving their wealth? Most of our investment, there's a tax that comes back because of the capital gains here and there. But the only place you can be able to get no tax at all is by investing in policies, where you get all your money plus your bonuses in full. The idea is to avoid, not evade. Those are two different words. Avoidance. You need to have financial debt. Nataka tupelekwe out to the latest restaurant, but we're not sitting down and talking meaningful financial conversation with our girlfriends, with our spouses. Have financial debt. And actively listen. Actively listen to the news. Actively read the newspapers. Actively look at what the world is saying financially. Because that is where the Lord shall drop for us nuggets. And actively read the Bible. What is it saying about finances? All I have read to you, and we have interacted, is about Proverbs 31, 10 to 31. Have financial debts. And when you're having financial debts with your spouse, let everyone know, let him know, let yourself know. This is a Christian marriage I'm talking about. Where that land is, not only where that land is, the value of that property, where the papers. Because we are finding ourselves, we are too timid. He'll take care of it, he knows everything. But what we are doing, we are benefiting UFA, Unclaimed Financial Asset Authority, because we're not being accountable to each other. Be vulnerable, marry your money, be vulnerable to your spouse, have financial debts at least once per quarter. For the single parents, have financial dates with your children. Let them know what you're doing. Don't hide it. They're your family. Let them know what you're doing. Where is it? Where are the papers? Because life is life. When you're having those financial dates, you need to have financial strategies. So let's grow each other, let's grow our families, let's protect our families, let's preserve our wealth. God bless you.
Thank you very much. We are going to have a session of question and answer after the short break.
Are you ready to embark on a transformative journey of faith, knowledge, and service? Look no further than Gospel Light College. We offer a diverse range of programs tailored to your aspirations and calling. For those with a thirst for profound biblical understanding and community development, we present our bachelor's and master's degrees in biblical studies and community development. These programs equip you with the tools to lead and make a positive impact on the world around you. And if you're yearning to become a more effective minister, our certificate in theology and ministry will provide you with the wisdom and skills to serve with compassion and purpose.
At Gospel Light College, we offer academic writing that will help you in your communication skills. We also offer Greek classes.
Enroll at Gospel Light College this September intake and join our thriving community of scholars, change makers, and believers. For more information and to secure your place, call 0748 006112. Gospel Light College, a Christ-like worker for a Christ-like church.
Welcome back from wherever you're watching us. Today we are discussing personal financial wellness on Sista Talk. And I believe in the first session you learned something and you are able to adjust your finances here and there. Right now we are going to for a session on question and answer, and we are going to allow our audience to ask questions. And I believe we have one of the first questions on the audience.
Where does your net start? Because some of us, you'll find there's probably there are loans that are being deducted before you get your salary, and then there is a tax. So where do you start? You begin to calculate your net.
Your pay will never be your money, ever. That is money to the government to give you good roads, peaceful environment to do your business and to work. So that's why we calculate as net from. The loans are to your benefit. If they were consumer loans, if you bought property with it, that is on you. So you calculate your net income just after pay. And that does not include your NHIF, because it's a benefit to you. That does not include your NSSF, just after removing the pay.
So this 30%, the first one that you mentioned, it can be, if the loans were good and the NHIF, they can still fall under this first 30% that you talked about?
The NHF and SSF, no. That's on the last 30% because they're part of your lifestyle. Because you're finding in some NSSF, that is for pension, you're paying even up to the 20,000 per month to help you reduce your taxes and your pay. So NSSF and NHF are expenses per se, until when you will need to use them, especially NHF. How many here, every year you spend your NHF? Barely do we touch it, not unless you have a critical illness. Yeah.
Okay.
I am so happy that I am a Kenyan. And in Kenya, we have something for everyone. You need to look where your budget will fit you. Meaning, you do not have to live in certain neighborhood because your capacity does not allow. But there's room for everyone. So look where your budget will fit in. And how to save and invest still in this challenging economy is look for there are good companies that have good properties where you can be able to move in and pay in a bit like a mortgage plan. We have Savo, we have Optiven. There's so many there, probably even some in your churches. I'm not sure. But they are there. But they have to be credible. They have to be regulated. Then you have to put a contract with it, not a word of mouth. And then at the end of the day, do your search. Don't only buy by just having two people exchange documents. No, include your professional lawyers into it, because that's the work they're supposed to do for you, to protect you. So do your due diligence.
I think she also mentioned there is one of the percentage, was it 5 or 2.5, where you're supposed to give a parent.
Percent.
Yeah, but then her parents are well off. They don't need the 5%.
You see, the 5% is a requirement by God, is to honor. When you're honoring someone, you're not honoring them because, yes, we owe them, but when you're honoring them is so that they may bless you. If you remember what we are told in the Old Testament in regarding to blessings from our Father, the sons will go and cook a nice meal of what the father likes, and after he has eaten and is satisfied, and he's able to speak blessings to you. That 5% may not necessarily be with money. You can have them go on holiday. The idea is to show love. You see, you may have all the money in the world, but at the end of the day, even if you have all the money in the world, when your husband brings you that one rose of 20 bob, there's a place he touches that your wealth in the bank cannot touch.
Yeah.
So it's a bit about honor.
All right. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Let's have the second question.
There are some of us who have heard about the percentages today. Where do we start? How do we start implementing that?
Yeah.
And maybe we are living up there. The rent is 50%. The other thing is you can give us examples of where to invest the 10%, because there is a saying that you can't grow rich through savings, or you can't build wealth through savings. So examples of avenues where we can invest the money. The last one is the 30%, the last one, which caters for everything. I'm looking at a person who has loans, has children in school, has everything else to cater for within 30%. How do you apportion it? Thank you.
Start where you are. Start now, start today. In the places I give you as an example for money market, you only need 500 shillings to start. What is 500 shillings for you, for your emergency? Then sit down, do a financial date with yourself. If you are married, with your spouse. If you are a single parent or you're single, start a date with yourself. Re-evaluate your life. If you are living, for example, that 50% on rent, you're doing a disservice to yourself because you're eating your future. You need to reevaluate those percentages and start now, start today. If you have loans and debts, those debts are supposed to be paying themselves. They're supposed to, you should not be taking another income to pay those debts. Those debts should be working for you. If you're working for those debts, you need those debts taken out, meaning you need to remove them. On the 30% loans, children, there are so many. I have a budget template, which I will gladly share with each of you, that will help you allocate on different places on regards to the expenses. And what I like about it is that it has two sides. We have the fixed expenses and we have the flexible expenses. You'll find it's not every month you pay school fees. It's not every month you have maybe a harambe or you know, those needs. Those ones are flexible depending with the season. Then you have the fixed, where you know I have to pay my electricity, I have to pay my water, I have to pay my nanny. Those are fixed. They don't fluctuate. And then you also need to look outward. What is outward? What asset do I have that is not helping me that I can sell to reduce these debts? Because those debts will give you stress if they're not adding you value. Then within your home, what are you able to sell? Or if you have a 4-wheel drive car, you can sell it off and buy a smaller car. It will reduce your fuel consumption and it will also reduce your service. Reduce those expenses because a car is not a liability, not unless it's an Uber paying itself through income. A car is a liability if you're always financing it. Examples on where to invest. Now, money is interesting. Money follows money. You have to save for opportunities to come up to be able to help you grow that money. If it's your financial dream to own property or borrow for property, you have to have something. And how do you start having that something? Is by you saving. And then when you save, you need to take care for your education, for your children. You can see me. If it's retirement, take care for your retirement, where you can get as much as 80% return. Then another place to invest is that I told you guys you need to read. I told you guys you need to watch the financials. you need to go for financial dates with your girlfriend. I may not have all the wealth of knowledge, but that knowledge is with us. Our dear host told us about onions. Who do you know that probably has an area in Mary you can connect with and be able to grow that place, grow those onions and get a market? Yeah. Look for opportunities.
Wow, that's important. Look for opportunities. Read. I know many of us, when news is going on, you are cooking ugali. But, and then I think we also need to uninstall most of the debt apps that we have. I'm not a prophet, but the way I sense right now, many of us have Mshwari loans, Fuliza loans, Tala loans. They're even threatening your relatives. So please do something. Let's have the next question, please.
For a business lady, on the issues of budgeting, how can you budget? Because I'm seeing maybe your income is not, or
it's not constant.
It's not constant. Okay. And then there is this issue of chama. You said that chamas are not good, but to some of us, chamas help us to have that must saving. You must save, because if I put my money in a savings account, I will wake up maybe after 2 days and go and withdraw the money. But if I have a chama account, you will wait until your number, if it was number 12, you will wait until that number 12 for you to get your money. So I think it's in one way, it's a way of being disciplined on your finances. That if you know it is number 1, it's a must that you should look for money and put in that chama. And then you will wait until number 12 for you to get the money. Thank you.
The chama issue is affecting many people. So chama is about you setting the money, then after 3 months you eat it. So can you probably say, is it extreme, very bad, or it's good and bad?
Wow. Money.
And how can the chamas redefine themselves?
Okay. Yeah. Money is personal, emotional, and it's also about character. You need to know yourself. Now, chama helps in the discipline of helping you to save, but also you can do that chama for yourself. But if you see it is working for you in that aspect, please run with it. But you need to know that it is not helping you increase your return on investment. However, like your plate of food, you have vegetables, you have proteins, you have carbohydrates, right? And the vitamins of vegetables is not the vitamins of fruits. You have to have a balanced diet. This goes back to even our finances. There's room for those chamas in the aspect that our dear lady has shared, but there's also the aspect of you also need to grow. Because if you wake up and you're mark timing the same place, you're neither moving ahead or neither moving behind. You're just there. And eventually, because of inflation, the money they're keeping in chama, in that number 12, when it returns back to you, it's not the same 1,000 that you put in. It's actually less. So you also need a place where you can be able to preserve the value of your money. I want to give you a practice that you will all do for yourself, an illustration. You know the income that you receive per month? Divide it by the amount of time you work to get that money. If you receive 20,000, for example, that 20,000 divided by the number of days, for example, to be able to get how much you work for a day. And that maybe probably in a day you find it's 1,000 probably. Then how long does it take you to use that 1,000 in a supermarket like this? You need to know the value of your money to be able to preserve it. Second, on the chamas, now we need to redefine how chamas work. There are avenues where chamas are becoming investment group where you can borrow together. Like I know of Mhasibu, I know of Kimisitu Sacco, they're taking in chamas, even Stima Sacco, Police Sacco, they're taking in chamas, but you're entering there as a chama group. And then from that chama group, you borrow maybe to do a rental property where everyone is committing, I'll be paying 10,000 towards that project. And then when that project comes up, and then it's bringing income, we redivide. That would work, but not keeping that money silently. But if it's working for you, depending with how your business structure is, it's okay. At the end of the day, is win-win.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Then on the second one about
Constant income in terms of the percentages.
the cyclic income you receive, differently, the money is not constant. As I mentioned, the percentages work. Even on your per day, we have investment options that you can be able to pay 100 shillings per day. And that money is working for you and is giving you good returns.
Yeah.
Use the percentages for your daily. Work it out. Because at the end of the day, if you do the right things at the right time, eventually you will get the summation of the same person who's earning a salary. Just
Yeah, so
the
basically what you're saying is that the percentages you give are not rigid.
No.
You can change it and fix it according to how your earning is. And you know, somebody said change the amount of money you get paid into dollars. Then you'll know that Kenyans, we are just waiting for the return of Jesus Christ. So let's have a question on this side, please.
I just wanted maybe to chip in. There are still some ways you can enhance your JAMA. You may not be having the capacity to do the 10,000 per month, but from a low level in banks, you can be able to put your money in a savings account that is earning you interest. So like what we do as staff, we normally know we have the fixed deposit accounts, we have goal accounts. So once you contribute your money, you do not just contribute and share. Then you put it in a savings, and then it's earning some interest. As much as it is little, you don't get to be stagnant. And then also you could have one person within the JAMA who understands money market very well. Because again, if you do not have a very good knowledge on money market, you will keep on losing money. Another way I have seen JAMAs really have an added advantage in a small way is a case where you do contribution up to a certain percentage, and then you save from there. Anybody who has a need borrows and returns the money at some interest. So in such a way, you will grow, and you do not have to put in exorbitant interest rates like the ones you're getting at Tala and others. You can just do a 5% interest rate. So you are helping because you're not charging much. And also, you are able to execute what you need to execute without borrowing at 30% interest rate. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. For those who don't know, Susan is a banker, a professional banker. So thank you for the chipping in, Susan. We appreciate. Do you have something to add, or we ask the next question? I think we had one more question.
I think for what I want to say for chamas, you need to have, I keep mentioning, you need to have financial dates, know how it is helping you, how you're growing together. Now there's a challenge of food. Right now, it's expensive. You can be able to do what we call bulk shopping, economies of scale. Buy a lot of rice, share. Buy a lot of oil, share. That will be able to help you and add value. We need to look on ways on how we are gaining wisdom from it. But if it's just money lying there, it may not help you. Then, on the money market, there's also the joint bit where you can have the representatives of the JAMA be part of the money market. However, the issue is the regulation. Have minutes together as a group. Let it be registered, because registering is very little money. Search for a name. Search for a name. This will help you.
Yeah. Wow, okay. Let's have the last question, please.
Thank you. My question is, you said that you sold your debt to a SACCO. I just wanted to ask, how do you sell it to a SACCO?
The main thing for credit organizations is they only do business by when you take credit. They're always looking for opportunity for anyone to take credit. So how you go about it, even banks buy credit. It's just now it will not be from your bank account. It will be from theirs. They will be buying, that money will be given to them, not you. And then you're left paying. You just need to reach out to them. They'll be able to help you with that, whichever you want. If you're in a bank, look into your circle. They can be able to buy that bank loan for you, or a different bank which has a lower interest. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We can clap for our guests and thank you for the questions. Coming to the tail end of the show, thank you so much, Hannah, for the wealth of knowledge that you've shared with us today. We really appreciate. So if you've been watching, I pray that from today, you're going to be financially well. The Bible says that when you grow fat, on your neck, you will break the yoke. And I believe that you are going to break the yoke of poor financial, that is not wellness, but sickness, and many debts that are not necessary. So let's come out of it and let's increase in wisdom, in knowledge, and in money. See you again. Bye-bye. I'm Linda Talam.